Hey, you there! Thank you for watching, and welcome to Forge Lines Forever. Today I have a 5v5 custom match here on the most amazing Neuroxys map generator. So let's go ahead and introduce our teams and our players, starting off with Team 1 in the Northwest, ending with Team 2 in the Southeast. And I will make a note, when I do zoom in on the map, it's going to be kind of difficult to read the names, so apologies ahead of time. Hopefully that's not too much of an annoyance, but again, let's go ahead and introduce our players. Starting off with Team 1's Northern player, we have in Stitch Blue, Freshie as a Cybran. He is a 1600. To his east, we have blending in with his environment, if I can speak correctly. It is Amon-Ra. He is a UEF. He is a 1700. He is the highest rated player on Team 1. To his west, we have in orange, the color orange, Winter. He is a Seraphim as a 1500. In west to his south, we have in a Cybran faction com. It is Robert. He is a 1600. Again, I say his name that way because it sounds like Robert or whatever. Whenever I don't know how my tongue or whatever works, but it just sounds weird, so I have to enunciate the Robert with the O. Anyway, to the west, all on his little lonesome, not super far away from the main group, but he is Saison. He is in Amethyst Purple, and he is a 1600. So for Team 1 side of the map, they have 2 UEF, 2 Cybran, 1 Seraphim, no Aeon for Team 1. Starting off with Team 2's backline player, we have in Forest Green, the 1200 player of Bohanak Hakti. He is a Seraphim as a 1200. Going to be calling him Bo for short. To his northwest, we have Lil Sid Little as a UEF in Imperial Gray. He is a 2300. He's the highest rated player on Team 2 and in the game overall. And next door to him, we have in Batman Gray LCR as a 1000 rated player as a Cybran. To his north, we have in Barbie Pink, already making his way to the middle, Big Mama Murder. She is a 1300. And last but not least, there to the east, we have in Chevy Crimson Akpuk. He is a Cybran as well as a 2100. And he is, again, in Chevy Crimson. So for Team 2 side of the map, we have 3 Cybrans, 1 UEF, 1 Seraphim, which means for the entirety of this game, there are no Aeon players. Apologies to those loyal to the princess. Hopefully you enjoyed the game nonetheless. And for 10 players on the map, let's take a look how much reclaim they have to scoop up. Currently sitting at 25,000 mass in reclaim. There is a decent chunk of mass in the northwest and northeast, southwestern corners. Decent, that's about, I'd say 3,000 or so on this kind of lower section. And then there's a decent chunk on the cliff edge as well. In the middle of the map, there's a tiny pond with a chunk of reclaim surrounding that as well. And for the mass extractor layouts here, we're talking about Team 1 side of the map today. There is a Trimex position here. And that's it. That's the high amount of density mass extractors. There's 1. And yeah, there are mass extractors kind of dotted around the map, but that is going to be a huge focus here for both of our teams. You have, Trimex here with other mexes along the eastern and western sides, as well as a couple of mexes along the northeastern corner as well. So it's definitely a more highly dense populated mass extractor location. I'm spiraling out of control with my English today for some reason. And that is the layout here. Let's go ahead and speed things up just a little bit just to see where our players are headed off to. We do see that it looks like it's going to be at least 2 players going south here for Team 1, with the rearguard airslide player of Freshie staying back, and 2 players heading east. So possibly going to be at least a 1v2, maybe 2v2 for Team 2 on this eastern side, and then possibly a 3v2 or maybe even a 2v4 if Team 2's rearguard airslide player Bo does come in and assist. You can kind of maybe see that direction. These frontline players deciding to go west. Big Mama Murder, instead of going north, goes west. So again, we'll see how that works out for them. We do see gun has been started for Robert in the middle of the map. And on the opposite side of that pond, we see Winter going for some nice land facilities. And they're propping up everywhere. The Trimex position does get grabbed by Freshie, the rearguard airslide player. He's going to use that to great effect to get his eco up and running, to get those ASFs, bombers, gunships, whatever he fancies himself, up online very quickly. Raiding bomber to the west here, inbound from Team 2's Lil Sid Little going after the mech here for Saizawan, which will get taken out. Unfortunately for him, it is only one T1 mech, so not a huge issue. Transport inbound with a couple of strikers, going to be starting to raid the western mechs. Unfortunately for those units, they get cornered quite quickly. They are going to get both of those mechs, but nothing much beyond that. Again, it's better than nothing. And still no movement here from the comms in the south for Team 2. Both Lil Sid Little and Bo Hanak Hakti staying in their bases. I'm kind of surprised by Lil Sid Little not engaging the front line. We do see a couple units inbound from Team 1 going essentially a nice little diagonal manner, cutting the entire northeastern corner off from Team 2 and trying to raid as many mechs as they can as the comm of Akpuk continues its trajectory northward to again establish dominance in that region. We see some gun upgrades being started here by both of the frontline players for Team 2 on the western side for Big Mama and LCR. We do see a gun upgrade started. It's going decent quickly. He's actually paused the upgrade on his commander, just assisting with an engineer. It's at 75%, so pretty soon that upgrade will be finished. We do see still more pressure mounting here for the east for Freshy. He, being in the back, has decided to put a lot of pressure on land. It gives a lot of time for Team 1's remaining frontline commanders on the eastern side to get more facilities, get more units, get all of the everything online. I would love to see these units transferred over to one of these players and not have them be controlled by two, specifically because, well, both commanders are here, and it'd be easier to coordinate if one of them just had control. But again, those are my 2 cents, of course, in that regard. A large group of units starting to form up here between these two teams in the southwest. Robert with a gun upgrade, LCR with a gun upgrade, and of course, Big Mama has a gun upgrade as well. Are all of these are all Cyberns here, and the Cybern count in this game is 5, so half of the players in this game are Cybern, which means there's a high possibility we'll see a Telemazer commander. Doesn't mean it'll guarantee that we'll see one, but there is a high possibility, of course. And obviously higher than if there was one in the game, kind of thing. T2 coming online here for Saizawan in the west. Going to get a nice defensive position online here shortly. And units starting to poke through and just punch, completely ignoring the force that's over here to the west here for Team 1's Robert, deciding to try to do as much economic damage as possible and deal with the supply lines here for Team 1. Essentially slow down when those reinforcements are going to arrive. Units that were going to push southward, actually going to intercept a couple of engineers, but probably will be called back to kind of guard the comm, because this is a large amount of T1 units here for Big Mama, and she is not going to stop. We do see in the east, the comm of Bo has actually decided to go north and assist the eastern front. We do see that Winter is trying to be a little bit aggressive here, with Amon-Ra coming to assist as well. Would like to see maybe a gun or T2 upgrade for him. Either or would be very beneficial. I feel like in this regard, more of a defensive one would be nice to kind of, again, limit Team 2's access to mexes. But if they want to be aggressive, go for a commander, they can. In the west, we have a murder-suicide situation here between Robert and Team 2's Lil Sid Little is who we got. No, sorry, LCR, excuse me. That's the other great player in this game. And it does leave Big Mama Murder decently hurt, drops her below 50% hit points, but it looked like it was just going to be one of those just clash into one another, and one got the other essentially. There was no getting out of that probably for either team. Maybe LCR could have backed up, but he wanted to kill, and the units probably focused him down, and that was it. I do apologize for missing that, but of course it does occasionally happen in these decently high ranked games. We do see in the east T3 units online here for Team 2's Akpuk, using this nice little plateau bridge thingamajig to maneuver around, moving in to intercept the remaining units inbound from Amon-Ra. And we do see, of course, Winter is retreating. I don't know if he's just falling back, going to get a little bit of reclaim, it looks like. Amon-Ra doing the exact same thing. Team 2 probably going to be very happy about the pressure being alleviated, especially from that side of the map. Team 2's done a very good job of grabbing the entire southern edge. Team 1 has done a very good job of grabbing the northern edge. So it's essentially gone from a northwest versus southeast to a north v south situation, which doesn't really change anything. It's the same distribution of mexes roughly, so there's no huge advantage on one way or the other. We do see a couple of Ilshis coming online for winter. We do see a couple of T2 units also for Saizawan, getting a nice defensive position and a radar system online. Transport with some engineers on board for reclaim, doing its best to again increase the economic reserves and infrastructure of Lil Sid Little. He's over 100 mass per second. Same with Saizawan. He was the recipient of that dual base. So these two players are the ones to watch out for. And they are in the same lane and essentially the same position roughly as well, at least facing one another. So it's good that for both teams that player is the one that receives it so they can fight back better. A lot better, a lot easier. Yeah, I don't know why my English is bad today. I do apologize. Big Mama Murda continuing to push against Saizawan. He's the only comm remaining here on this western side. Same with her. So it's going to be just a 1v1 engagement here at this point. She has a decent amount of T2. Not decent amount, couple of T2. Decent amount of T1s. Decent amount of T1s. Couple of PD, but again, does have a gun on board and is almost at 1-star veterancy. Saizawan doesn't have offensive capability, well, more offensive capabilities. He has more defensive, so he can get more PD, which will over time favor him. But for the immediate scenario here, Team 2's Big Mama will be the dominant force in this region. In the east, you can see Team 2 slowly pushing out on this eastern edge, trying to claw their way forward. T3 Air is probably online. Yep, it is here for Team 1. T3, I was going to say, is probably online for Team 2, and it is. So far, only one air player for Team 2. I don't see any other T3 air facilities for Team 1, not even a T2 one. It's going to be a 1v1 in the air for the foreseeable future. A couple of gunships running around for Freshie, gone for the Renegades. Of course, they are cheaper than their bigger brother of the Whalers. I mean, they are T2. It's kind of the nature of the beast. They're then a little bit cheaper. But there are a couple of units inbound here from Lil Sid Little going after a couple of mexes. The engineers are going to take a hit, though, but those Renegades right next door to intercept. There's also a couple of pillars that either just walked all the way through, which I highly doubted, or they got transported over there, which I would presume. They're going to go after this T2 mechs, focusing the nice little mass storage that will not die. So not really a lot that happened there. A couple of mexes did go offline, so a net benefit for Team 2, but not by much. And look at this. Big Mama Murder is going to cut off Saizawan from his supply line, from his main base. We do see units moving in intercept, of course, from both directions to collapse on top of that forest. There are some T3 units in the mix. Titans, very good unit to deal with a lot of T1 spam. And some pillars for some HP. I feel like I hear an explosion. Maybe that's just me thinking that there's going to be one and I'm going to miss it again. But so far, it is still a 4v4 game. Going back to Big Mama pushing against these pillars and a Titan. Is there a Percy? Even if there was, it wouldn't be the best unit in this engagement. Lots of T1 and T2 units. But unfortunately here for Big Mama, decent amount of that is T1 AA. And most of the T2 units have been dealt with, so those Titans are going to be a great, great counter to that. Gun has been started here for Saizawan. His shield has also online and filled to the brim. And is he just going to send his commander back and intercept the commander? Well, in this case, Big Mama's just going to head to him at that point. It's going to be a nice little kind of role reversal. She went for the snipe or went for the hook maneuver, and now it's going to bite her in the butt, unfortunately. There are a couple of deceivers online to try to, again, deceive the radar systems, but unfortunately, Saizawan does know she's here. There's no going away from that, and it does look like Big Mama will probably just die from this engagement, probably do as much damage as she can to the comm, and then kind of just go on her merry way, maybe go to a different game, maybe act as a nice little eye in the sky here for Team 2, but that is going to be a kill for Team 1. And unless Saizawan doesn't push this, that is a kill. There are Titans over here. There's more units trying to come help the comm, but dropping into the yellow already. 3-star veterancy, though. Decent amount of hit points to chew through. Saizawan still has his shield. No real issue there. Tons of hit points, tons of damage. And not really going to be a huge saving here for Team 2. If a magical T2 transport comes in, that might be the saving grace that Big Mama needs, but I don't think there's any T2s nearby, and it does look like Big Mama either just control Ks or it get defeated, and that is a kill here for Team 1, dropping this game to a 4v3 in favor of the northern team of Team 1. And I'm presuming that Little Sid Little will inherit that base. He may give it to Okpuck, but given that he's, again, over here to the west, I highly doubt he'll do that, but you never know. You can see now in the east, the entire eastern edge is devoid of Team 1's forces and structures. It's kind of devoid of a lot of things, but there are a lot of red units online for Okpuck. In the middle, T3 making its main stage here. Winner has Gun, Nano, and Regen. I think that's the regular one, if I recall. Yeah, it's the regular one. I have to always look for the inner circle because it's kind of hard to tell because they size down the icon. It's the same with the Nano, but again, the icon is technically bigger, at least the one in the middle. And then Amon-Ra does not have any upgrades on board, despite the fact far forward, decent amount of shielding, has T3 units. I'm surprised that he doesn't have maybe even just like a shield or something. T2, something to give him a little bit more cushion, because a bog standard 12,000 hit point commander can get sniped pretty quickly. We do see in the middle another group of forces building up here between these two teams. Saison, of course, emboldened by his kill on Big Mama Murder. She's actually providing some intel for her team by pointing some stuff out and saying, hey, there's these facilities that are online. Hey, this, that, and the other thing. Love that. Of course, you get a nice little kind of reprieve of your brain of like, okay, somebody's helping me out. And does look like units are transferred over here to Okpuck, except this one. He wants to transfer all of this, but this T2 mix is upgrading the T3. He's like, this one's mine. You can have all the other ones. It's fine. And, of course, does give Okpuck 4 more mexes and a couple of pigeons, which he'll definitely be thankful for. He's sitting now at 173. Little Sid Little at 289, almost 300. He's almost producing half of his team's total mass. We do see a force brewing here in the east there between Team 1 and Team 2, mainly spearheaded by Winter, using that regen as a nice little distraction to get his units even closer. There are bricks constantly bearing down on those shields. And again, another scenario in which I would love to see all these units transferred to Winter in this case, because he's literally in the middle of all those units. So why not do that? Kind of some shifting over here to the west. Decent battalion of Titans over here to the west. I don't think that Little Sid Little missed that. I can see one of his AA facilities come offline, but those are not detectable on radar for now. And the pressure continues to mount against these two teams in the east. Winter's still just kind of struggling to break through. These bricks, of course, have really, really good range on board, so they're keeping those Othams kind of at arm's length, and they are ripping those hit points apart, even with the but the regen nearby. There should be an Omni over here, to be fair, but that's neither here nor there at this point. And he can't actually see those units, which is why he can't target them. He needs some visual contact range, or visual sights. Something like that. He needs visual confirmation. That's the word I'm looking for. In the west here, again, still lots of units, but they're deciding to go completely to the west and the north to crack this position for Saison, ignoring this line of attack. And there's been a lot of PD that's been built. A couple of Percys. Of course, the Calm is nearby. He's getting more PD online. And yeah, it is a pretty much straight UEF fight. Winter defeated by Okpuck. And that is primarily just due to the fact that... What did he die? There's a lot of Othams dead. Was that a missile snipe possibly? No. I don't know what that was. Apologies for missing that kill. He was underneath some shield coverage. And these are all... Oh, it wasn't a Billy nuke. And specifically because Okpuck is a Cybran. And the only UEF is down here for Little Sid Little. Yeah, I don't see why he died. There's no conversation about it in chat either, so... I mean, there's hardly any bricks. There's one brick in that mix. That's it. Lots of Othams, so I'd be surprised if it wasn't some sort of tac snipe, but I don't see any TMLs nearby. Weird, but anyways, it drops the game to a 3v3. Apologies for missing that. He seemed perfectly fine for the time being, and I was focused on this engagement to the west, but yeah, I still don't know really why he died. That just kind of baffles me a little bit. There's so many dead Othams, not that many dead bricks, and he had nano and the aura regen on board, so he had a lot of hit points to his name. So I'm kind of surprised. Nice piercing attack down the middle here from Saizon, going after just whatever he can. Couple of bricks and other Team 1 units just, again, trying to break on through. Units intercepting this from 3 different armies here. Actually, sorry, not 2 different armies. Not 3. 2 different armies. The other force is actually from Team 1's Amon-Ra, linking up with the rest of the forces from Saizon, continuing to essentially just cut off any sort of reinforcements to the west. It won't be that much of an issue, though. There are reinforcements all the time here for Ogpuck. That's not a bad thing there. Unfortunately, these units not really able to catch up or really do much. And here come those Othams in range of some T3 mexes. Little is going to feel it in his pocketbook here soon. SMD after chicken, please. PD says Ogpuck and resolve. So constantly communications going on about this invasion of forces. Advanced region aura coming online here for Bohanak Hakti, and he has the regular nano already on board. And there's another T3 mix, and there's going to be another T3 mix. There are some Perseus being built as fast as possible. Team 1 PD being built to try to deal with this. There are now Perseus inbound. Those bricks are now moving in to intercept, but that's another dead T3 mix, T3 mix, T3 mix, T3 mix, T3 mix. 5 T3 mixes offline. Team 2 is suffering in the eco department now, specifically Lil Sid Little. He is not doing well after that 5 mech kill. And there's also a couple more Perseus coming in to relieve those defensing forces. But that was a great attack here from Team 1. Just took the opportunity, did a lot of economic damage, and called it a day. And now we see that Lil Sid Little wants a little bit of revenge, moving in to intercept this position over here. Saizon's comm has retreated. I don't blame him. He's going for a Fat Boy as we speak. In the main base here for Team 1's other players. No other experimentals coming online as of yet. And nothing in the outline. Oh, excuse me. There is one. It is a chicken coming online for Amon-Ra. Team 2, are you producing any experimentals? I would assume a monkey at some point from probably Ogpuck. Most likely a chicken here. Looks like there's some really weird things. Most likely Control King, some engineers there that just looked very weird. Or actually, he's probably Control King, his PD is probably what he's doing. Fat Boy online for Lil Sid Little in his frontline facility. He has his T3 land headquarters up here. So again, cuts down on that travel time quite considerably. Oops. They don't even need it. They have times eco. Where is their experimental nuke? Says LCR now. The possible talking about nukes here for Team 2. We'll see how that goes. There is that Fat Boy now online for Saizon, and those forces are forced to retreat. They can't deal with that Fat Boy. There's PD fire constantly coming from the west. That's not really going to help things for Team 2 over there. And at 24 minutes on the clock here, let's take a look at the game overall. Team 1 sitting at 3 players left. They lost Winter and Wobert. Team 2 has lost Big Mama Murder and LCR, so it is a 3v3 game. No advantages one way or the other. Team 1 does, however, have a huge advantage. 1.1k mass income versus, I'll say 800, because that eco is going up very quickly now with the mexes being rebuilt. But still, at least a 300 to 400 mass income deficit for Team 2. Obviously, mainly driven by that attack earlier on with those Perseus and other units from Saizon. But let me know down in the comments who you think is going to currently win this game. Of course, if you haven't done so already, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. Thank you so very much for watching to this point in the video. And hopefully you will enjoy the rest of it and continue to watch the rest of it. Because why not? You've already watched almost half of it, so you might as well watch how this story ends. There is a chicken online here for Amon-Ra, pushing the front lines here against Ogpuck. The comm of Bohanak is going to move and try to intercept and protect his air grid. Or at least protect, again, more structures here for Team 2. And that chicken is just going to use its range, not walk into the base. Would definitely agree with that move, trying to again keep Team 2 at arm's length, but there are more and more bricks inbound. Percy's coming in to assist as well. There's still a couple of these T3 mobile shields online, protecting that chicken from as much fire as they can. There's now parashields trying to help as well, but I don't think their time is long for this world. And there's more and more bricks inbound all the time. Team 2's Akbuk has spread them out quite considerably, which makes it very difficult for the chicken to deal with it, and the chicken is destroyed. Love that play here from Team 2. But unfortunately, there is an attack on the eastern side. The bricks, of course, moving in to intercept once again. Frontline facilities here for Bo are knocked out. There's bricks inbound, but the brick force for Team 2 is greater than the one from Team 1, so no real issue there. Air fight does occur. We have some Corsairs inbound, and ASF's getting in behind some of those ASFs from Team 2 as well, so not really going super well for those Corsairs, and not really going super well for those ASFs from Team 2. But again, definitely worth the price. They prevented some economic damage, or I wouldn't say a snipe, but probably a decent amount of economic damage. Surprisingly enough, Akbuk has the ASF. Team 2's air player of Bo either gifts them over, or that's just from, yeah, I think that's just from him. Yeah, because these are all this air from Variety. So I'm wondering what his plan is if he's gifting all of those ASF over to Akbuk. I feel like, I mean, it'd be easier for him to micro that and then Akbuk micro the land side of things, but I don't know. I can't say one way or the other. Maybe he's thinking he's a 2100 and I'm a 1200 kind of thing, which that math tracks, but again, I can't know for sure. I can't read everybody's mind. Even so, even if I could, I don't want to, because I don't want other people reading my mind, because no. Just everybody keeps their own mind to themselves. That's it. That's how it should be. Everybody needs to have their own personal space that's their own, and no one else can interfere, and that's at the bare minimum in your own head. Couple of mexes on the front line, though, for Team 1's Freshie. Still sitting here, still hanging out. Don't know why they're still there, but they're still there. That's 6 mass per mex that he's getting technically just for free, sitting really, really, really close to Team 2's front line. And those bricks mounting an attack against this chicken, and those bricks are going to do round 2 and win this fight. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about that. Once the brick moves in, once the bricks all come into range, that's it. It does look like the bricks are going to start to retreat. They notice the attack vector. They're like, that chicken's not stopping. The Iron Storm's going to take a little bit to activate. There goes the second chicken. That was definitely not worth that engagement. I know what he was trying to do and try to get the bricks to kind of sit there in the middle of the Iron Storm, but Akbuk was microwaving them quite well and is wise to that move and avoids that potential destruction of a huge chunk of his land force. K3 units also online here for Freshie. So he's still continuing to help on the land side of things. Not as much, of course, because he is the air player, but he's trying to do what he can, and I do love that. Most of it is AA, so he's providing AA support for his teammate on the front line just in case Team 2 deploys bombers or gunships. Then has a couple of bricks to escort them as well. Do like that. I do like that maneuver. Really good use of, again, just kind of divvying up responsibilities, essentially. One of the mechs is finally taken offline, and I wonder if these bouncers are going to be able to will deal with that. Looks like they are focused on other things. Oh, no, they do target the mass extractor, and then a brick comes in and kills it anyways. Scout says Akbuk, talking about scouting Team 1's base. This is what Team 2 can see on Team 1's side of the map. They can see a lot of signatures, most of the air grid. That's really about it. They do know where all the comms are for Team 1, so that's really beneficial. Team 1, what can you see? You can see all but Little Sid Little's comm. So, 2 out of 3 isn't bad, but, you know, it's not as good as 3 out of 3. Which, by the way, Little Sid Little's comm is right here. Oh, right here in the back. It looks like they lost radar signatures of him. So that's a thing. We do see in the middle Team 2's Bohana Kakti, the air player in this game. He is Seraphim. He's gone for the advanced nano and the advanced regen. 240 hit points per second on board that commander per second is nasty. One chicken, again, against all these bricks. This is round 3, and it is not going to work. I mean, all the bricks have to do is just walk, and the chicken is dead. If Okpuck isn't careful, though, he could walk them too far. The chicken, of course, sensing this, doesn't walk all the way forward, and it dies again. There is a monkey over here, and Freshie's like, what's going on over here? In the Wester, Fat Boy just poking and prodding. Counter Fat Boy here for Team 1. I think these are the same Fat Boys that have been online for a while. Looks like a second one's being built by Wilson Little, and the second one has been built by Sizolan, building a third one here shortly. Well, the Western games really kind of just standoffish. It's just using experimentals, long-range artillery sort of things, and kind of just leaving it at that. There are land armies being built quite heavily, specifically for Wilson Little. Tons of Percy's. If that Fat Boy isn't careful, but looks like Sizolan's being very careful with it, so he's not going to lose it quite easily. Chicken, 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 and more chicken. Round 4 is going to start here shortly, which is crazy at this point that this has happened 4 times. I feel like he should wait till he gets a second or maybe even third chicken and then goes in all at once. But that force of units here from Amon-Ra, at least the supporting units are going to go down. There is a nice little monkey over here just kind of sniping at a couple of these bricks, but again, not a lot of damage on those secondary fire weapons. 32 minutes almost on the clock here, and then it's just Fat Boy, Fido almost trading with one another. We see a Fat Boy down here, Fat Boy up here. They're almost in range, but a lot of shields protecting that one, and a lot of Titans and a couple of bricks escorting that one. And here comes the Monkey Lord trying to do what he can, coming in with a couple of those nice little laser weapons. Of course, the chicken's still doing as much damage as he can, staying very far back, not allowing those bricks to come in any sort of way. There is now a second Monkey Lord online, and a chicken does kind of make a little bit more step forward, but there is now a crab online, and that's what the bricks are going to huddle behind, or actually in front of technically. And Bo Hanakakti still being pretty ballsy, charging forward. There is 2 monkeys and a chicken nearby. And that comm might just die here. That's not the best idea. The Monkey Lord stops firing for a brief second because he gets out of range. But is that going to be a kill? Yes, it is. Team 1 gets a kill on Team 2. They lose a monkey for it. But I think they'll be happy with taking out a comm at a minimum. And this crab going to get lots of damage on these 2 remaining experimentals. Obviously, all of the bricks are inbound as well. Looks like the chicken's just going to go for Ion Storm and call it a day at this point. The bricks are charging into him. If he can just get the crab to stop moving for 2 seconds, that'd be probably the best thing. Chicken walks too far forward, but there's a bomber inbound, so that doesn't really work out for that crab anyways. There goes the crab. Ion Storm activates, singes a couple of the backs and a couple of those bricks. Chickens, again, are being produced very quickly here. That's another chicken wreck. So there's 2 chicken wrecks, 2 monkey wrecks, a crab wreck. It looks like the forces here for Team 2 not feeling very good. The bomber, though, that's not going to feel good. This is just a reclaim field at this point. How much mass is over here? Airfight does occur over said reclaim field. Currently sitting on the total map, 130,000 mass and climbing. Of course, the ASF fight going to add a lot to that. Looks like Freshie is going to win that fight, so Okpuck will lose it. But again, lots of mass on the ground over here. Of course, all of this mass over here. Some mass is, of course, taken up by the bombs. But, of course, there's still a couple of chicken wrecks. Anyways, bricks come in and eliminate the chicken producing facility here for Amon-Ra. There are no more chickens for the time being for him. 34 minutes on the clock here. Team 2, are you planning anything devious? Satellites have been started. That's pretty devious. For the UEF, of course, more chicken to the back here for Little, wanting a little taste of that. And I don't see anything else too crazy here for Team 2. Team 1, what are you working on? Looks like an artillery has been started for Sizolan. A Duke. We see a chicken almost done here for Amon-Ra, so no, he's not done producing chickens. And still, he produced those pretty quickly. He's putting most of his mass into them. And, of course, air grid, of course, expanded upon here by Freshie. That brick force is just going to do as much damage as it can. It knows it's not going to really get anywhere else in terms of maybe getting out of there, especially with the air fight 1 for Team 1. That's mainly going to be about as much economic damage as possible. T3 facilities coming offline. That's going to cut the supply lines quite heavily, just in case of getting, not in the case of getting back to the front line faster. There is, of course, a monkey load over here, and that'll be the end of this brick incursion here from Team 2. But did do a lot of damage. Unfortunately, I think not as much as you would have hoped for. Obviously, everybody hopes for a total annihilation, but it's never always on the cards here. It's not never always. It is hardly on the cards. Just, I mean, it sometimes happens, but not really. First Fat Boy down here for Saison. First Fat Boy here for Team 2 is Little. Actually is taking out the second one receiving fire, so they traded essentially at this point. We have some Titans, sorry, not Titans, Bricks intercepting these Percys, but there are so many Percys online. Those Bricks are not going to hold much longer. Fat Boy going to do a lot of damage, of course, as it's retreating, but it's got to be careful. It doesn't run into a nice little cliff edge there. It has to get up that little ramp. And now most of the mass for Team 1, Saison going into that artillery. It is in the yellow, to be fair, and it's actually over 33% completed. Team 1, more chickens, more chickens, more chickens, more chickens. And Freshie, just again, more ASF and other units. Does get some of those whalers online. There is a chicken running around over here for Okpuk. Another chicken under the control of Losid Little probably will be gifted over to Losid Little, given to Okpuk. And again, it is a 3v2 in favor of Team 1. So it is the two highest rated players in the game, being the 2300 of Losid Little and the 2100 of Okpuk, versus the 17 and 2 of the 3 1600s for Team 1. So, you know, these players, they know what they're doing. They're very skilled at it, and they're not going down without a fight, which is one of the reasons why this game is pretty much an hour. You see these Percys continuing their rampage forward, of course, escorting the Fat Boy. The longer this goes on, the easier it is for Team 1 to reclaim that Fat Boy. Unfortunately, Team 2 possibly starting the reclaim for that Fat Boy. They've most likely will start that one very easily here shortly. Ravagers coming into range here now for these Percys. Fat Boy continuing to retreat. 56,000 mass killed on board that Fat Boy. Did pay for itself and then some. Fat Boy online here for Saison now. He noticed the threat. He stopped the production of the Duke. He's producing another one, and with those two online, and of course some PD over here to the east, it should be enough to keep this attack not necessarily pushed back, but enough to maybe save the Duke. That's probably the main focus here. Save the Duke, do as much as you need to do that, and again, pick up the pieces later, essentially. We have a monkey running around, and two chickens. They've doubled now here for Amon-Ra, and they're going to secure the reclaim field. Very vital that either team gets this. Unfortunately, the whalers will come in and kind of deal with any sort of incoming bricks. Fat Boy now hitting the shields here for that, actually the shields for the base that are covering the Fat Boy for Saison. This Fat Boy over here, it is now in range of this Fat Boy. Both Fat Boys firing on that Fat Boy from Team 2. This Fat Boy will most likely go down. Not most likely, it will go down. And this one, oh, it's going to be a little bit longer before it's dead. Chicken coming in to assist from Amon-Ra. There goes the Fat Boy. The only issue, though, is that Duke is right there. These Percys are in range. They're targeting the P-Gens. They're going to take the shield offline. The Fat Boy is done. It's severely wounded. That Fat Boy is not going to last very much longer. They're trying to shield the Duke. Another shield is going to be built. The RT2, of course, easier to build, cheaper to build, all that sort of things. Will this Duke be saved? It's going to be close. There's more and more Percys, more and more and more and more Percys coming into range. The chicken trying to do what it can. Secondary fire on the Fat Boy, trying to output as much damage it can. That shot misses. That's going to hurt. There are a couple of spearheads, because why not? And shields trying to keep that Duke safe. Duke almost destroyed. And it's gone. And the Fat Boy's gone. That's not great. Team 1 loses 2 of 3 of their Fat Boys. And Team 2 obviously lost the one up there. They're already working on this one. And going to get that one here shortly. Lots of mass being donated around the map. Team 1 secured the reclaim and got most of it. Actually, no. They've got, oh no, they haven't gotten any of it. There's no engineers over here, which is kind of surprising given they've already had that secured for a while now. A couple more Percys coming into range. Maybe they're going to try to take out that one, but I highly doubt it. And that chicken's just going to get fed more veterancy. 21,000 mass killed. 86,000 mass killed for that Fat Boy. 5-star vetted Fat Boy. Sorry, 87, excuse me. And an artillery emplacement is online for Amon-Ra. 40 minutes on the clock. And he's decided to end the game with artillery. Essentially stopped producing chickens and spammed up Havatham. He's sitting at 500 plus mass. I can see why you can spam those experimentals up quite quickly. Team 2 sitting at 1.1k in total, with Wilsa Little at 600 and Okpuk at... I felt that. That's gotta hurt. Well, I was gonna say Okpuk at 500. How's his power reserves doing? He's getting some power from his teammate, essentially. And Wilsa Little, how's your powers doing? 13,000. You should be fine to cover this. Ooh, another couple pigeons go down. Shield comes online just to protect the last remaining one and the headquarters. So, in fairness, the headquarters is still online, so that is the best thing to keep. But unfortunately, the rest of that air grid is not feeling too good. Satellite is online for Wilson Little. And he's going to be using that for something. And we have his own artillery emplacement. I'd say not necessarily too far forward, but it could be in this base. I like the idea of it not being in the main base to kind of just say, hey, you assume it's going to be here, but it's not going to be here. But again, the closer it is to Team 1's front line, the easier it is for Team 1 to try to steamroll it with land. We'll see if that does work. We see artillery targeting the air grid for Freshie, so both of the air players lose at least a chunk, if not most, of their air grid. I mean, Team 2 loses most of theirs. Team 1 still has, well, I was going to say Team 1 has about half, but satellite plus artillery equals dead air grid. Freshie standing next to a pigeon, not a good place to stand. That's going to be an accidental control K, air quotes. That pigeon, that's gone, that's gone. That one's going to be gone here shortly. Artillery does miss, and Freshie still has some shields. Does still have some hit points. Was shielded by the shield for the volatile explosion, so he's fine there. But man, is he not feeling good right now. That air grid is not going to be online for much longer. There goes another shield and another pigeon. There goes all the shielding. Artillery still not targeting that base. Looks like it's shifted target priorities over to something else. Looks like it's going after the artillery for Team 1's Amon-Ra. I just want to see this thing explode and have Freshie notice that he's standing next to a pigeon. Yep, there it is. Loses half of his hit points there. And he's going to be targeted. There is no shield nearby. Notices it way too late. And all it's going to take is probably just one burst, if I remember correctly, from that satellite. It's sitting at 33,000 mass killed. 1-star veterancy on board that thing. In regen, 25 hit points a second. Only sitting at 110 hit points, to be fair. So there it goes. There goes Freshie. Killed by a satellite. It is now a 2v2 game here at 43 minutes. And both of the air grids wiped out. Team 2 has something remaining, but not much. Team 1 has nothing remaining. And of course, all the shields protect the non-existent artillery. Artillery going to be rebuilt over here instead. We have Air Force running around here for Amon-Ra. Don't really know what happened. Looks like another air fight possibly happened, but Team 1 still has some ASFs, but Team 2 doesn't really have anything as well, so it's kind of just a moot point at this point. Both teams had air. They pretty much now no longer have air. Another bomber inbound here from Team 1's Amon-Ra, going after more and more bricks. Doesn't get as much damage as he probably would have liked. Only less than 1,000 mass killed, but there are 2 chickens and a monkey. 1 chicken is dead. Bricks now going after this position. That's a better bomb. Does kill a couple of his own ASFs though, so some friendly fire in that regard. Mass mostly gets... Well, no, I keep thinking it gets reclaimed, but I zoom in again and then it's all there. It's still there. Neither team has reclaimed all of the mass over here. I know things are, kind of distracting with all the everything going on. But 400,000 mass on the field, and I'd say at least 100,000, if not 120 or 30 in this stretch right here. Another group there, another group there. More mass in the back line. Looks like this got taken out. Looks like it was a chicken, so there was an attack at some point. Maybe from Team 1, I would presume. Because why would there be a chicken wreck in the middle of Team 2's base? I highly doubt it got hit with artillery enough to get destroyed like that. Bomber over here to the east, going to take out a decent amount of AA. Will drop into the yellow But again, the damage is done. Chunk of AA taken out. It does drop roughly at 50%. You must be very careful. Don't need that anymore. And it does look like it's going to kind of swing right and then left. And those ASFs are being eaten alive by those AA mobile units. And the bomber just ignores and continues to go south. Maybe it's going to go for a comm. It's going to go for these land facilities and take out the production for Team 2. There goes that group of structures. All of them are gone. One ASF remains. AA spammed up. Of course, over here, bomber lands on top of what a mech was and takes out a couple of spam facilities. But I don't know why I just didn't keep going southward and then try to go after something else. Don't really know. Artillery landing next to the second one that's being built here by Amon-Ra. Team 2 still only has the one snipe inbound, possibly, for some fat boys. Doesn't lead the target enough. Missiles are inbound. Oh, it's looking pretty good, to be fair. Oh, the missiles will hit a couple of parashields, but they'll miss the main, and then it looks like they tried to hit a little bit south of that. I love the not the forethought, but the try to predict where the unit is going to go. But that long of range, the fat boy would have had to not be moving at that point. Artillery landing in the middle of this base here for Lil Sid Little, and that's not going to feel good. A lot of TMLs going offline. Shields being popped on and off. There goes another PGen. There goes the other artillery being built. The rest of those TMLs. One PGen does survive, but there are 2 artillery emplacements shelling that position. Team 2, that's their only, was their only artillery. They don't have much in the clip remaining. 3 experimentals plus a lonely little brick that just wanted to hang out with the older kids. Chicken trying to chase it, kills off the brick, and those monkey lords, monkey and chickens, excuse me, are moving in. Is a monkey going to try to intercept? It will slow this approach a little bit, but again, the damage still favors Team 1. There are 2 experimentals for chickens and 1 monkey versus a monkey and a chicken. Decent amount of T3 support, though. But, of course, the chickens are going to try to rip apart the monkey before it even gets into, effective range. Chicken catching up to this chicken, though, that's not going to help things. And these units going to continue to barrel down. Looks like an Ogpuck's position. Gets another monkey online, so 2 monkeys and a chicken. This chicken is in the yellow, getting just infinite damage, essentially, on this chicken from Team 1. That monkey gets annihilated by that group of units from Amon-Ra. Again, continuing to barrel down this position. Monkey Lord not going to feel good after this. It's going to go down. That chicken does get killed. The Ion Storm will activate in the path of this chicken here from Ogpuck. Maybe he'll move it around. Maybe he'll just take the damage. Chicken looks like it's going to go for the SMB. And where the comm was, it looks like, I think they're going on a comm snipe operation. They see the comm. They want the blood. They can sense it. It's in the water. The chicken is being shot at by some Ravagers to the west. This chicken gets just eviscerated by that Iron Storm. And they do get him. Team 2's Ogpuck is defeated by Amon-Ra's chicken and Monkey Lord combo. And this base here, now under the control of Lil Sid Little, is not going to do a whole lot for him. Multiple mechs is going to be taken offline here shortly, either by the Ion Storm or by just the units being there. And Team 2's last remaining player sitting at 1.1k mass income. He's producing more mass than the entirety of Team 1. He's launching a counteroffensive with some Perseus, lots of Perseus, lots of Skyboxers. And that's it. Perseus, Skyboxers, and I'm trying to see if there's anything else in this mix, but I think that's it. Facing off against a decent amount of bricks, 2 fat boys, some Ravagers. They're not going to get that much damage done, unfortunately. They might kill off an SMD if they get close enough, but they are starting to be whittled away quite quickly. There also is a group of Skyboxers all by their lonesome. That's it. Over here to the west. Don't know what these transports are doing. Don't know what these transports are doing. That's going to be the thumbnail. Yep, that's the thumbnail. I don't know what that's about. That seems like very ominous. Very, very ominous. 1, 2, 3 artillery installations here for Team 1. Still shelling Little's position. He had the artillery back into the yellow at least. But the shields are going to collapse under the weight of those 3 artillery bombardment installations. We do see Little getting more shields online. Going for a bomber of his own. Going for chickens first. And the monkey over here. Looks like the chicken had a chicken fight. That chicken died. This chicken died. There's still a monkey running around. Team 2's bleeding mass, bleeding territory, bleeding everything. And now it looks like the artillery from Saizawan moving in to target the position to where the comm is hanging out currently. Percy's trying to implement the same strategy they did last time. Unfortunately, there's not that many left as there were the first time this happened. And there are now 2 fat boys perfectly fine back here. Been showing their movements the entire time. And that is a clean wipe over here. So much AA. I don't understand why he's just sending it in all by his lonesome. Team 1, no air. Team 2, no air. Don't understand all this AA. Either team could go for air. There's not that much AA coverage on either side. There's more for Team 2 than there is for Team 1. But I don't why. I mean, circling this because why not? Maybe. I don't get it. I don't get the whole transport circling stuff that he wants to target. It looks like shields around that comm are fading. Not going well here for him. Trying to get more and more shields back online. Satellite not gonna favor too well here shortly. 600 hit points remain, and it's the shield saves it from 1 hit. 1 more artillery shield will kill it. And there it goes. The artillery kills off the satellite. Team 2 has lost all of its long-range firepower. There are now a single strap bomber over here to the west. Team 1 spam facilities for some reason for Saizon. Maybe just a distraction. Maybe he just wants to be annoying. Maybe a little bit of both. And I think I'm going to speed things up a little bit because it's going to die down in the action department. Artillery just constantly raining in from Team 1. We have another artillery built here for Saizon, so that's 4 artillery emplacements, and then now the chicken wars will start once again for Amon-Ra. There is a bomber right down the middle going for that group of artillery. Will impact the shield, needs at least a couple more runs to really actually pierce the rest of the capacity. But now it's going to shift focus going for these mexes over here, it looks like. He will kill off at least 2, and it won't kill the 3rd one. How is his base doing down south? Well, not great. I'm actually going to split things so I can have a view on what's going on with the base and then what's going on with the bomber over here. Bomber gets another drop in, kills off more stuff, gets another bomb off, kills off a ton of engineer drone facilities. That's going to hurt the build power here for Saizon. Artillery lands next to the comm. The comm takes a hit, but does have his shield. Bomber's still alive, I will add, so lots of potential damage, but unfortunately it is slowly being whittled away by nearby AA. And artillery trying to prevent the construction of another bomber. It does finish. Amon-Ra does take some damage due to that bomb. 1 more pass that might kill him. He does get underneath more AA coverage. The shield pops back online, pops back offline, and that bomber is... oh, he's going to be fine. Maybe not. Will he get the comm? The shield pops back online. No, and that bomber is destroyed. That second bomber, it was somewhere. I don't know where it went. Looks like it's down here dealing with this incursion of experimentals. Once again, there is a crab, a couple of chickens, and a monkey. I like this kind of dual chicken-monkey. But sitting on top of an ion storm, that's not going to do very good things for your health, especially with a bomber overhead. There goes the monkey. The monkey's dead. Crab inbound. Fat boy trying to cover. Chicken over here. That one's going to die. Crab taking more damage. Can Little just stave off death? The only issue is even if he does, his base, there's no hope for that base. 55 minutes on the clock here. That crab charging forward. Chicken charging forward. Bomber doing a lot of damage. 57,000. And climbing. I feel like I don't need to split at this point because essentially most of the action's happening in the southeastern corner anyways. Move right there. Bomber lands again. Man, this thing is just throwing bombs outside of its window. Just constantly being like, here's a bomb, here's a bomb, here's a bomb, here's a bomb. Just will not stop. His entire base, most of those base is gone. The artillery's still raining in over that commander. He's just got to dance the entire time. Shots go off the edge into the void. But essentially at this point, it's just there's no hope for Team 2's Lucid Little. It's how long can he survive. It's like a survival match at this point. Another bomber over here, 78,000 mass. He gets a Fat Boy, almost gets another one. 98,000 mass killed. That bomber does not get its prey, but does go after these bricks. Sorry, yeah, bricks. Well, there's some Perseus in there, and they're bricks. A little bit of both. But look at this. Look at the map here at this point. 57 minutes and climbing. Bombers still raining in. Was those strap bombers inbound? A couple of them. And Little still alive. Chicken running around now for him. AA being spammed up, trying to, again, keep that commander alive. He has not control Cade. He's going to die by explosion or not die at all. Bomber still just causing tons of havoc here for Team 1. 136,000 mass killed for that one. More strap bombers in all the time, just trying to dodge. Needs to get shield. How is his power consumption? It's still he is still positive on power, so he could build more shields. I just don't think he could build them fast enough is the issue. He's getting his shield rep backed up. He's at 5,500 hit points. And another group of chickens inbound. That Fat Boy's DED. Artillery just trying to hit him. He drops below 1,000 hit points. And there he goes. Ooh. It was also a Billy Nuke inbound. But Team 1 wins the game. 58, almost 59 minutes on the clock here. Team 2 put up a really, really good fight. But unfortunately, it was not enough. I think the main blow. Look at the mass. Obviously, a lot of it was base destruction, but 600 plus 1,000 mass on the field. No one decided to build a game ender. Very surprising in that fact. And no one, surprising enough, went after this mass right here. I don't know if there was just too much going on for these players down here for Team 2, but they could have easily claimed this position and claimed all of this mass. I mean, that would have funded a lot of projects. How many bombers were built? How much stuff was killed? It was crazy towards the latter half of that match. MVPs for this game. I don't know. I feel like the defensive capabilities here for Team 1 Saison were proven quite useful for keeping Team 2 at bay, specifically on the western side here. I mean, he faced off multiple times against him. He did lose his artillery that was built, but he did stave off complete destruction. And then pretty much didn't really lose much of anything else after that. There was another attack, but he was well prepared for it. And it was essentially just a back and forth in the western for most of it, just kind of in the middle. But I think Saison keeping his front line just stable definitely kept Team 1 in this game quite heavily. In the eastern side of things, of course, I didn't like the assist on the land side of things from Freshie on the air, but I feel like he maybe should have focused a little bit more on air. But that's my 2 cents on that. And then at some point, both teams just gave up on air. I don't know why. They're just like, well, Team 2 doesn't have air anymore. Now we don't have air. We just don't need it anymore, I guess. So no idea what that was about, but I don't know. And I feel like had one team gone back into air, the game probably would have been done faster. We saw some strap bombers built, but nothing to the levels of 20 or 30 of them or just a bunch of gunships or something. But let me know down in the comments who you would have picked for MVP or thoughts of this game overall. Whatever the case may be, let me know. Thank you so very much for watching. I really do appreciate it. And I will see all of you in the next one.